when the best player on the male side of all time going into, listen, Novak doesn't know how many years he has left. Is this it? I don't know. We don't know. We're predicting health, but it's not 10 years, right? We're closer to the end than we are to the beginning. To start a new coaching relationship and then fly across the world in December to Argentina to play a farewell match with a friend of yours and someone you've shared the court with, purely for them. Novak doesn't get anything out of this, right? So Novak flies to Argentina, plays a one-night farewell in front of 15,000 people for one of the game's most beloved players, someone I played against many times, doesn't have a bad day, doesn't, if you have a problem with Del Potro, then that's probably says more about you than it does him. But what an effort, right? To go and say, I'm going to do this thing for you because I respect you. We all kind of feel for Juan Martin and what he's gone through with injuries, because without those injuries, he has a Murray type career. He's that good. Like he wins more majors. He's better than chuckers like I was. I mean, the guy can throw it off both sides. He's one of the few that could beat the big three if he was playing his best tennis. Right? Some of us needed to play our best tennis and needed a little help from them on a given day. He could go out and with his forehand, he could dominate the court because when his forehand was on, it was the best shot on the court. You would hit a good ball over there and you knew there was a chance that you were going to be a mannequin watching it go by you on the next ball. But Novak going there, I say this with all respect, finding a way to lose to Juan Martin del Potro in his current state in Argentina. It's just a beautiful act. It really is a beautiful act. And it comes from respect, right? It comes from absolute respect. Knowing JW, you've been closer to Novak and certainly he gets and has earned, some negative headlines, but it seems like I won't even say consciously because I don't think it's that thing, but he has the ability to be inspired by people and then act on that inspiration in the form of things that are really good. I really respect this move and paying his props to Juan Martin del Potro.
This is pure tennis altruism. I mean, you sort of lay out the facts here. And Novak, by the way, he's older than Del Potro by a year. So here's a guy who, as you say, very charitably, clearly there are fewer and fewer sunsets here. He's 37 years old. He has a new coaching relationship. He has a wife and two children. So he's missing the Christmas festivities in Belgrade or in Spain, and he keeps this commitment. And if you've been following Del Potro, there's a lot going on here. I mean, here's a guy who this guy beat Rafa and Roger to win the 2009 U.S. Open. He was born in 1988, so he's not even 20 years old, and he's beaten two of the towering giants. I think when you say this is a guy who could have had Murray's career, that might be understating things. And everyone who's, as you say, everyone who's encountered Del Potro, colleagues in the locker room, also people like us, you can't not like the guy. He's had a rough go of it. Injuries are only part of it. He's been very outspoken on social media. If you want to sort of go down those rabbit holes, he's been dealing with a lot. And Novak clearly made this commitment a long time ago before he knew he was going to be working with Andy Murray in his offseason, and kept it. And you're right. I mean, this was nothing other than pure philanthropy, really. And Novak thought it was the right thing to do. I suspect there may have been a measure of it's almost like survivor's guilt. Like, again, Novak is older than this guy, and we're talking about him as someone who could contend for a major, and he's looking across the net at a colleague who didn't have the career that it looked like he would initially. Novak kept his commitment, didn't get nearly as much fanfare as one would hope. It was very popular sort of in tennis Twitter circles and in Argentina, obviously, but this was really a lovely gesture. And, I think there's a bigger discussion here that I'm sure we'll have about the role of December and exhibition season and competition. But no, Novak did not get anything out of this materially other than it was just an act of good, and he should be commended for that.
Yeah, he should. He has been. And this isn't surprising from him. Listen, as much as any of us have disagreed with him, like we got to call it fair. Like, the best of all time. And he is consistently capable of doing these really, really nice and decent things over and over again, especially for people that he has shared the court with.